What's up, everybody?
Hey, JD.
I'm here back again, but only for a couple seconds. So, they're doing another. Which one is this?
Tower of Dawn.
Tower of Dawn. So I won't be here, thankfully. But I will introduce the beer real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So today we're going to be drinking a Kolsch from Notch Brewing. It's a clone style golden ale, 4.5%. And it was brewed and canned in Burlington, Vermont, and Salem, Massachusetts.
Ooh.
So that's kind of exciting.
That's very exciting. We may have to get some for October.
I know.
Some spooky vibes.
All right,
That would be
pour
fun.
it up.
Yes, please. Here.
While he's pouring it, I will say this is Tower of Dawn Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
So only Tower of Dawn Part 1. And yeah.
And Boo didn't have a word.
Yes,
Yeah.
Boo doesn't have a word. I gave her one. Patience.
Yeah, I forgot a word, and we'll just go with Heather's. It's just, she'll tell you why. Thank
We
you.
have to taste the beer first. Oh, thanks, Boo.
Yeah. Okay, well, cheers.
Cheers.
Smells nice.
Mm-hmm.
Looks nice. Good clarity.
Oh, tastes good.
Yeah, it's nice and light.
It's very light.
Yeah, very good.
Not hoppy. Not too hoppy.
Yeah, I got a little bit, but it's the normal bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Balance for a Kolsch. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I did my part. You guys have fun.
Thanks.
Okay, tell us why you said patience.
Well, this full disclosure, this is my least favorite book in the series because of how we finished Empire of Storms.
Yes.
And like, it's a cliffhanger. You're like, okay, next book. We're going to pick it up and it's going to be, we're going to go find Aelin and we're going to kick butt and we're going to win. Hopefully, fingers crossed, like what's going to happen? And it's like, Chaol. And it's like, what?
That's how I felt, like, because I read these as it came out, and
Yes.
I told you that earlier, but I read them as they came out, and I was so upset I had to wait basically 2.5 years for the
Yes.
instead of just like one. But now that it's been years and I can look at it with a different perspective of like I know what happens throughout the whole series. I can give it a little grace, even though it's still not my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we can get into that later. But
I'll give it a little grace having read all of it.
yes.
Not to give like spoilers or anything. I can give it a little grace. I was talking to my friend V. She said I can use initial, but not name. And we were talking about it because it's her least favorite book too. And she's like, I tell people to skip to the end.
Oh, really?
And she's like, yeah, like I tell people the same thing. Like, this is one of the books you either audiobook or I will actually give spoilers for and be like, you at least have to read these chapters. Because I'm like, I'm not going to give everything away, but I'll give you like plot points until you need to pick up in this specific part in part 2.
See, that kind of like, I get it, but that kind of breaks my heart.
I don't normally do that either.
I know you never do that. Because like he's not my favorite, and I was the devil's advocate for him when JD was doing these books with me.
Yes.
But I will say that his growth, Chaol's gross.
Growth.
Silent Boy's growth is very good to see, and how hard he is on himself. Like in chapter 1, he literally sees himself as the Lord of Nothing, the Lord of Lies, the Lord of Oath Breakers. Like he really hates himself in this.
He does. And like not having been here for the previous books, like he was very punchable.
Yes.
Very punchable. And
Yes.
even how we left him before we got to this book and everything, he was like, I pitied him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like he had this injury. And he does say, I don't remember which chapter, I do have it written down of how he tells Yrene he ran. Like he says he was a coward and like he's feeling that. And this it's a pity party for part 1
Yes, it is.
of him until a certain point, but it's just a pity party.
I think it gets start to get good when
Yes.
Yrene is chased / stalked the second time.
Yes.
Sorry.
Hi, Marley girl.
He's still a kitten, so he still bothers the old lady, and
Oh, my sweet girl.
she kind of snips at him sometimes. But sorry, where was I?
How punchable? I said it was a pity
Yeah.
party for him.
Yes.
Yes.
The devil's advocate part, what I had told JD,
Mhm.
I'm probably going to get it wrong how I said it, but out of all the characters, he is the most human, literally and figuratively.
Quite literally, yes.
So him being faced with all these magical things, the fae, magic, being scared for people like him,
Mhm.
I can see in a way how his thought process was going when he was very punchable, because I agree he was very
He
punchable.
was very punchable.
But as the devil's advocate for that, he did apologize to Aelin after she fought Manon,
Yes.
and he realized, well, I've been an ass, basically.
Yeah.
And then you see it more in this, and how he sees something and he's like, oh, Aelin would have gotten a kick out of this, or
Yes.
Dorian would have loved this party.
Yes.
You know?
I love the little like, oh, like Aelin would love this. Dorian would have loved this party.
Yeah.
Or like Aelin would have like conquered all this real quick. Or like it would have loved this and everything. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love the little like comparisons in that sense and
Yes.
that we see in part one. I will say before we move on, I love the descriptions throughout this part one because it's a completely different continent and everything. And even in chapter 1, how he's describing the wheels squeaking on the floor
Yes.
of his chair. I will say I was a little petty because when I first read this, like I was still like, Chaol's punchable, and I'm mad that
Same.
we have a book of all the characters to get a standalone book. It's him. Mind you, this was when I first read it, not
Yes.
having big picture. I was like, one of the first things I thought of was the Taylor Swift lyric where she says, like, no, go stand in the corner, think about what you've done. And it's like, okay, now go stand there, sit there.
I mean, that's kind of what is happening, other than he has to bring an army back with him.
Yes, but it's like,
go fix yourself.
Go fix yourself and think about what you've done.
It's funny that you said that, because I said my first thing I wanted to talk about was that the world building of the southern continent
Yes.
is so beautiful. And heck, just in chapter 9, when Yrene's in the loom for the first time, which are the hot springs beneath the Torre,
Yes.
her describing the water, hitting the bells, making the dinging sound while you're in the water. You're not supposed to talk in there.
Mhm.
It just sounded so beautiful and relaxing.
Yeah, even the colors that they're using to describe everything. Like in chapter 1, when they're describing the palace as they're being
The murals.
the murals and everything. And he even said, what could have been if it hadn't been ruled, Ardalan, haven't been ruled by a demon king hell bent on turning this world into a feast for his hordes.
Yeah. Yeah, because it could have been beautiful.
It could have been beautiful because it was like, so it's a culture shock for him.
Oh, yeah.
Not
It
for
is.
Nesryn as
Oh, no.
much, because obviously this is her home.
Yeah.
But very much for Chaol.
Oh, yeah. And it's really cool to see.
Did you get your ear? I was petting her like this and she got her ear. Unless, do you have a sore?
She's been itching where she has a bug bite,
You got a bug bite.
and she has a little scab there right now. So if she hits it wrong, she will yelp.
Okay.
She'll scratch at it and then be girly. So pathetic.
So pathetic.
But yeah, the womb just beautiful to me. And Nesryn, when she one of her first chapters, she was like, there are two parts of me, the captain of the guard and someone that's coming home.
Mm-hmm.
And then her ride with Sartak, she is just in the air for the first time. And she's like, this is breath.
Mhm.
And then she's like, I can't understand why my father left this.
Yeah.
And then her describing that layout of her aunt and uncle's house. It's like, I want to live there.
Heck yeah.
Like,
Well, and the way I looked at it, this is her terracing.
yeah.
This is what it is for her. I do want to call out before we really go into that, because in chapter 2, when they first are introduced to, how do you pronounce it? The emperor.
The Coggin.
Coggin. Okay.
I'm probably saying it wrong, but
We still put respect on their name.
yeah,
'cause,
all the names.
all the names, because there were a lot of characters and a lot of different words introduced in this book.
Yeah, like I've heard like someone listening to the audiobook and they say caution, but I'm like caution.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah, so
there's not a U-T-I-O-N there. Aelin having a plan to bring gold and jewels to him.
know. It's so funny. She's like, here, take my 2 trunks and then divide it into 4 smaller trunks so it looks like you're getting more, and then give it to him. I don't want this anyway. It's from when I was an assassin.
Yep.
And then it's funny because the Coggin, he was like, I don't need that money. And then he drops the bomb like, because you might need it because Rifthold fell.
Yeah.
Dorian's missing and your coffers are claimed by Duke Parrington.
Yeah, which was very shitty of him to drop that knowledge the way he
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah, but he's also basically saying, I'm in charge here. And I know more than you because you've been at sea. And I don't need you. You need me.
Which is true. We very much need him and his armies, but like,
Also, he's in mourning for his youngest daughter.
yeah, but I would think mourning would have him a little bit more empathetic of like, they are possibly in mourning too because they left loved ones behind and don't know.
Oh, yeah. And then Nesryn after that, she's just like
She's in
silent.
shock. Yeah.
Yeah, she won't wear the guard uniform after that either.
No.
She's like, no, I can't. I'm worried about my family.
Yeah, and there is no guard.
No, it all fell.
It all fell.
Gosh, at least Dorian got out, and at least they heard that. And then she later heard from her aunt and uncle
That her family got out. Yes. And Sartak is very much like, I will tell my spies to.
I know.
And I was like,
He might be my favorite character in this book, Sartak.
him and Yrene are tied for me. In that.
Yeah, I could see that. I like how she just, like, when she first met Chaol, she was just all like,
She was sassy.
she was very sassy. And then when she left, it had been no answers to what she was asking him. But I do like how Chaol caught in that moment that she's from Finharrow. Something happened to her.
Yeah.
That's
By her
why.
accent.
Yeah, he caught it by her accent. And like he knew right away something happened to her. And
Yeah.
that's why she was so closed off, because they were both from Ardalan.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. What else you got?
So I don't have a lot for this book, so we'll just get into it because this is just part 1. But Chaol's transformation, from detesting the sound of the wheels in chapter 1 to the saddle, he told Yrene, he said, please do not give me this hope and let it crumble.
Yeah.
So that really shows how much he was like mentally suffering about his body being useless, because he used to love to ride.
Yeah.
And then it went on to, and that was chapter 11. And then chapter 14, it was mortifying for him to accept saddle help.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 15, Yrene feels his anger after the lesson with the acolytes.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said, I was handled. I was just a prop.
Yeah.
I'm more than a prop.
Mm-hmm.
And she has so many bug butts. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
And then in chapter 16, his toes move. And then chapter 19, Chaol hadn't told Nesryn about his toes. Well,
No.
we should get into that after this. But
Oh, yes. I have thoughts about that whole
Yeah.
relationship. I have
Yeah.
notes and thoughts.
Yeah. And then chapter 23, that is basically when she's healing him, and this was after she asked about the scar on his head,
Mm-hmm.
and that he got that from his dad. And when she's healing him, his bad memories are ripped away by a happy memory of her past, which was her mother and her in the garden.
Right.
And he opens his eyes to feel his entire foot.
Mm-hmm.
And she had seen basically pieces of his memories,
Mm-hmm.
and he had seen hers. So they're both kind of healing each other as she's healing him.
Yes.
Because after that memory of her mom in her garden, she said, I forgot the sound of her voice.
Yes.
I started forgetting what she looked like.
Uh-huh.
So in a way, they're both healing very, very similarly. And then he sees Sheen's hand in chapter 26.
Yes, I have that written down as well.
And Sheen had said it had taken him long to get there, but he didn't get there alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Yrene's last attack, she tells Cassian that she feels safe here, aka with Chaol.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next morning, he goes to the palace captain to be trained with his men. And then he continues to go back day after day.
Day after day. And that's how that part 1 ends. Yeah.
But throughout his whole healing process in part 1, you see him closed off.
Mm-hmm.
And then as she opens up to him, he opens up,
Mm-hmm.
even though half of it's from the healing.
Yes.
And then after that, he sees Sheen, and then Yrene's attacked again. And I
Yeah.
think seeing Sheen and himself and his situation, like he's still a guard.
Yeah.
He's doing fine. And then with Yrene having that faith in him, that's when he was like, I can turn this around. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. Yeah. When I think we talked about this in Empire Storms, one of the big themes of this whole entire series is hope.
Yeah.
And he was very stubborn, part of why he's punchable, because he was so not focused on hope in the previous books. And now that he needs hope, he's getting little by little. And even the healer on high, she was like, Yrene, this is a test for you as well.
Yeah.
Because she has emotional damage, just like Chaol has emotional damage, that they both need to heal
Yeah.
in order to grow and physically heal in that sense. So even in chapter 9, Yrene hears, you must enter where you fear to tread.
Mhm.
And it's like, this is somewhere that she fears. But even after that second attack, when she tells Kashim that she's safer with...
she feels safe.
She feels safe. The fact that she's safe with a man from the country that she hates
Yeah.
is massive in the sense of both of them healing and trusting each other. And I think in that scene when the thing is pounding on the door, calling her name, and they look at each other and he's like, we're doing this together.
That was what I was going to say
Yes.
next. It's the together. He looked her and he put down his sword
Yeah.
and he was like, together. And she was like, I've only felt alone. And right now I feel like I could do this because
Yeah.
we're together.
Yes.
And it really did. That moment really did mean a lot to her.
It
Even though
did.
she was terrified.
Absolutely. But he was also doing what her mother did for her.
Yep. That too.
He was willing to do that. He wasn't actually, He was
but-
willing to sacrifice himself like her mother did
Yep.
for her to escape.
Even though he knew if that thing, the vow, got in there, he knew he was going to die.
Oh, absolutely.
But he had no problem if he died. He just wanted her to get out.
Exactly.
So a little bit of points for Chaol there.
A smidge. He's less punchable after that.
But can we see how creepy that description was of the Valg? Like at the
Did
door.
you notice how it changed?
What do you mean?
So in the library,
It was a stalking gate.
it was clicking.
It
There was a clicking sound to
Yeah.
it. And then in the palace, it had a stalking gate footsteps to
Yeah.
it. So it almost makes you wonder what it transformed or host it changed to potentially.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was something else before what we know happens in part 2, which
Potentially.
if you haven't read that, you will read this. Maybe it's that.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But it was just, when I was reading it, I was like, wait, it was clicking before. Unless it was like doing something, silencing their steps somehow and like tapping /
Yeah.
clicking something as it was stalking her.
That could be it because she thought it was the Bast cats.
Yes.
Like, and possibly them going after a mouse.
But the clicking, and then it became footsteps. And it was very interesting how she also heard a voice and how many of our other characters heard a voice.
Yes. And she was like for a second, like,
What?
Yeah. But then she heard, it was, I think, Silba's voice. And then she heard her mother's voice.
Yeah, because she was like, who's talking to me? And
Yeah.
then her mom was like, run!
Yeah, I know that part. But that whole scene, though, it's just creepy how it breaks down the door. And then all you hear is a man-woman voice.
Mm-hmm. Like a non-gender voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, Yrene.
Yeah.
And it's, ugh.
I almost pictured like a broken Siri where it's like
Yeah.
just saying that over and over again.
Gosh, it's like a monster movie.
It is a monster movie. I mean, they are monsters. But the fact of how Nesryn has been hunting and hunting and hunting, and she hasn't found, first of all, she knows what she's supposed to be hunting for.
Oh, yeah.
She knows the places to look because of everything that happened. She hasn't found even a little piece of dust of the flag and everything like that.
It makes you wonder what's different about this Valg.
Yeah. That went from the tour to the palace.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. But I know we find out in part 2.
We find out in part 2. We can't discuss that yet.
I know, but it's cool how it's not cool because what's happened to the character sucks, but like just seeing the difference between how assured Nesryn was hunting Valg in Rifthold to this where she's like, I can't find anything.
Which is like,
and out of all the people, I'd want her behind me looking for this.
Exactly.
Like,
if it's not Aelin, it's her.
I know. Yeah. Nesryn's pretty cool. Other than Lysandra, she's cool too.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of Nesryn, one thing I really liked is when her and Sartak were alone, they would talk about stories and living legends. And in chapter 25, they're on their way to his Hearth Mother's home. And he asks her about the tales of herself. And she says, no one has any stories about me. And then he says, not even the story about the arrow that saved a shapeshifter's life, the impossible shot fired from a rooftop. Like, heck yeah. And then she's basically called Neith's arrow.
Yes.
And that's a goddess of archery and the hunt.
Yes. Okay.
Like, heck yeah. Go, Nesryn.
I was so excited about that because I think one of the things that we also need to discuss is kind of what you mentioned earlier. Nesryn is also really the only other human in this group. Yeah. So she, like Sartak said, is surrounded by living legends. And then she's like, I'm just a human. I'm not going to have stories about me.
Well, it's funny too because, well, it's not funny, but like how she grew up, she was teased. She was always put down. And then she had to work so hard to become a guard. And then all of a sudden, she's a living legend herself.
From one shot.
Yeah, but she is a badass.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, but like, yes, very much a badass. She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. I mean, all these women in this.
Such
series,
badasses.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Nesryn, she's so underrated. And it's so cool to see her be propelled among those legends.
Yes.
Because she is that great, but she doesn't see it.
No. Yeah. But the fact that a prince
knows the story
and like, wait a second, I have a story and I'm compared to a goddess of archery. Let's talk about that for a second.
It's, well, I just like as the story goes on, you see her more and more like be able to do stuff like that too.
Well, and I wrote it down in chapter 24. Okay. And this kind of alludes to what I want to talk about eventually of Nesryn and Chaol's relationship. Her choosing herself, having her adventure in her homeland.
Yeah.
Channeling her inner Aelin and Manon is how I took that, because she's like, no, I've been a captain of the guard. I've been bullied. I've done this and I've fought and I fought and I fought. And here's this fork in the road where I actually have a choice, not what's required of me to be able to get to this status or get to this, but I have a choice to have an adventure before I have to really shit hits the fan and really have to fight. I'm going to choose the adventure.
And I like how she, what was it? Like, I hold you to no promises.
Yes.
That was the note, because she knew that Chaol felt guilty about the party the night before. So he wanted to talk to her in the bed because he is a man of honor and he's going to hold man of honor and he's going to be there for Nesryn.
Yes.
Even though
do we want to talk
he's
about that
fallen,
next?
sure. Even though he's fallen for Yrene.
Okay, I wanted to smack the both of them in the back of the head because it was just seriously a lack of a conversation.
Yeah.
Throughout 24 chapters.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm not feeling this anymore. Let's just be friends.
Yes.
It's not that hard.
The note could have been written like when they were on the freaking boat before chapter 1.
No, but it does add a level of tension, and it shows what type of character Yrene is, where she's like,
oh, very like, oh crap, like
you are with Nesryn. I'm not going to
interfere with that and everything, which is, yes, it alludes to her character, but I felt bad for Nesryn because even at the beginning of chapter 24, after like Nesryn spent the night in Chaol's bed, they just literally fell asleep. Obviously, Yrene saw that, didn't know what to make of it, blah, 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 because Chaol, of course, sleeps naked and all she saw was shirtless man, low riding sheet, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But she starts it off with, she knows she's a replacement for not one woman, but two. And now potentially a
three.
Third.
Yeah. Because it was, what was her name in Throne of Glass? The ex
that
slept with Roland.
And then Aelin. And now, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to just smack.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no woman should ever feel that way, eh?
Oh, no. But she is being shown she is a legend by Sartak.
And then later it's a boom chicka wow wow.
Yeah, boom chicka wow wow. And she's being put like in a higher regard because he's like, I'll tell my people to look out for your family.
Yeah.
Hey, you have a story about you too. Hey, oh gosh, I can't even think right now, but the way he talks to her is just like, you're capable.
Yeah.
Like he sees her as capable, but her own person too.
Yes.
So yay, Sartak.
Sartak.
I like him.
Well, he even said in chapter 24 when he was like, oh, I didn't think you'd be up here before I left because I would have spent all day in bed with you, basically, is what he said. And I was like, hello.
Hello. Well, it's funny. Stop trying to play footsie with me.
Oh, I want to play footsie with you, boo.
I'm joking. But I really like seeing their story progress in part 2. So maybe part 2
a little
will
bit
be
of
better
spoilers. Yeah.
for us. Well, they could just be friends.
They could just be friends. But no, it was just very frustrating to see that Chaol and Nesryn tiptoeing around, just
break up already.
Breaking up. And like, even they hadn't done anything on the ship. Like they mentioned a couple of times, like Nesryn tried to kiss him or something and he turned her away.
Well, because he was feeling inadequate as a man because he was in the chair.
Which,
I get that. But when he kissed her in the room, he said he felt nothing.
And how many times? I think he said that 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you feel nothing.
Yeah, he didn't even tell her his toes were moving.
Yeah.
And he knows that would have made her day because she was so worried about him.
And like, hello, hope is a big thing.
Yeah. give her a little bit of hope. She's already dealing with the stress about her family.
Yes. And like there needs to be hope in the sense of we don't know if these armies are going to ally with us.
Yeah.
If the second part of our mission is that you're healed so you can fight, hello, we need to have this little bit of hope.
Yeah. I don't know. It's he tries, but he's a stupid man.
He's a very stupid man.
Like, let's put it that way. Like it's the
You just want to shake him.
I just want to slap him across the head. Come on, open your eyes. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. We talked about that. So one thing in chapter 16, Chaol's getting healed, and he's thinking about Yrene,
Mm-hmm.
and then how the healers had been some of the king's first victims,
Yes.
even after the initial purge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great foreshadowing thing.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We can't say anything on that because I
Nope.
don't give away so much.
All right, what about chapter 21? Skulls Bay info to Hussar.
Okay, Hussar needs to be her own little topic, but I do think that Chaol, Aelin also doesn't share her plans with anybody, but also how would the heck he would know?
I know, but we already read Empire
Everything
of
that
Storms.
happened in Skulls Bay. So it was a very good guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you were thinking normally, yeah, it's a great guess. But then I like how Yrene was telling him in code that, hey, Hussar wants me to spy for her
Yes.
and blah, blah, blah. Can you give me a location for your other friend? And then he's like, she'll never go to Skulls Bay. Skulls Bay. And then it's just so funny to me that she goes to Skulls Bay.
I forget what I'm gonna have to make a note to revisit this when we talk about part 2 of how it lines up. If it's mentioned in part 2, like of if how Hussar looks up Skulls Bay, of like if she gets information, how it lines up of how it happened in Empire of Storms.
Oh, it shows up in part 2.
Yeah, I was like, I forget how though. Yeah. We're not gonna talk about that until part 2, but the fact that Yrene is also like, I like my friend Hussar, but she's asking me to spy on you, is also a level of trust in Chaol even before the attack and everything.
There was one part where she was like, she decided to trust him. I forgot what chapter it was, but she literally said she decided to trust him. I don't know when, but
at some point.
It was after the fight or the class with the acolytes, I think.
Oh, yes.
Sometime after then. But
I know which one you're talking about. It's I think it's chapter 16, chapter 17.
probably.
Around there.
Probably. But so she does say she decides to trust him.
Yes.
But she also like knows how Hussar is.
Yes.
Like she was the first woman or the first person to make her laugh when she arrived to the southern continent.
Yes.
Like,
but Hussar is definitely a shit stirrer for sure.
oh yeah, she's definitely her own person, and she's used to getting what she wants.
She's a princess. What else do you expect?
But I do. Do you want to say anything else about her?
She irked me because it was just like, irked me a couple times in the chapter because she's like, you're my friend, but also if you don't do this, I may
Stop you from leaving.
Yeah, I may do this to you. And I'm like, that's not a friendship.
No.
And I just want to be like, decide. Are you going to be a princess or are you going to be her friend? Are you going to be a princess or are you going to be her friend?
Yeah, it's tough because it's like she knows she can go either way.
Yes.
And she uses whatever side to her advantage because she knows she can.
Yeah. And there's even one point where Yrene went to her rooms. It was after the fight, and I put that in quotation marks, but it's after Nesryn leaves and Chaol receives the note, and like Yrene's pushing, like, what's wrong?
And he's like, get out.
Yeah. And Yrene goes to Hussar's room, and Hussar's like, oh, Nesryn left, and blah, blah, blah. And Yrene's like, you can see how Hussar's like, let's hang out, basically. And Yrene's like, nope, don't want to be here, and like leaves. and it's like you can see the walls, the boundaries. Boundaries is a better word.
Yes.
The boundaries with some of the actions that are
Well, that's
being
what
done.
she did with Kashin.
Well, because she's a whole different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't really get that story till part 2. But
Yes.
she has boundaries up. She won't interact with him because he likes her too much.
Yeah. And I would agree that if I were to marry a prince with the potential of my offspring then being beheaded and killed,
Yeah, it's not happening.
not happening.
Nope.
If I had 2 choices and that was one of them, I'm going with choice B.
Yeah. But I do like how Kashin went to Chaol to get him to share any outsider views he may have.
I did like that.
Because he doesn't think Tumlin's death was an accident or self-inflicted. He thought that someone did it to her.
Agreed. When I first read it, before reading part 2, obviously not knowing everything that happens in part 2, I was like, is this grief potentially clouding? Like, are you not accepting,
Yeah.
But it is good to have an outsider perspective, especially everything that's going on.
Yeah. Well,
And being in a whole different world, not knowing what to look for.
oh, yeah. Well, also the fact that just being in a whole different world, from Chaol and Nesryn both saying we shouldn't have come here after hearing about Rifthold, to Yrene finding the Song of Beginnings, the Elway book with the illustrations of the 3 Val kings and an infested man, and then the word marks and scroll, and Chaol's like, I know what these are.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you should have gone there. So maybe that's why this book was made.
Potentially. And like when I first read that, I was like, I know what those are. When she was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, I know.
Well, it's funny. Even their head librarian didn't know what it was. And she knows a lot. I kind of like the head librarian because she's like, don't mess these up.
Don't mess these up as they shove them in a boot.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. One thing.
Yes.
Whenever Yrene is feeling a certain way or her emotions are high,
Mm-hmm.
she sticks her hand in her pocket to hold the note. Aylin's note. The world needs more healers.
We don't know it's Aylin's note yet.
Uh-huh. She's mentioned it, right?
Not until part 2. Not until part 2.
I thought she mentioned it. I could have sworn.
No, it's not until part 2.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Are you just going to look it up?
Yeah,
let's look
I'm looking it up.
Because I could have sworn she mentioned it in part 1.
It's a note from a person, but she doesn't drop the name.
No, but we know from Assassin's Blade.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, oh, I was going off of part 2, not Assassin's Blade.
No, yeah. Reading Assassin's Blade,
Okay.
we know that Selena, spoilers, Selena wrote the note,
Yes.
which is Aylin. And then Aylin had basically given her the note because she was in Assassin's Blade as Selena.
Yes. Okay.
And
I
then
was going.
In chapter 4 of Tower of Dawn, Yrene mentions
it's
the
the
note
note.
that the stranger
Yes.
gave her.
Yes.
And then in part 2,
spoiler.
which we will later talk about, that's when she finds out it's Aylin because Chaol recognizes the handwriting.
Okay, so I wasn't going off of Assassin's Blade. I was going off of part 2 of Tower of Dawn. Okay, so sorry. Yes, in chapter 4, I was like, no, we don't know this yet. Shh.
Oh, see? Right here. Page 52.
Yes.
Yrene had never learned where the young woman had come from, who had bestowed the beating that had left lingering bruises on her pretty face. But she had spoken of Ardalin as Yrene did, as all the children who had lost everything to Ardalin did. Those children with their kingdoms left in ash and blood and ruin. Yrene ran a thumb over the note, the words inked there. For wherever you need to go, and then some. The world needs more healers.
Yes, which we found out in Assassin's Blade.
To To be fair, this is not
Sorry.
your favorite book, so remembering stuff as much as you do the other stuff probably doesn't
Well, I was
work
like,
well.
no, it just works. It happens in part 2.
It does.
Sorry for that 10-minute squirrel pausing and looking up. And anyways, yeah. I love that.
At least you had me question myself.
Well, I was like, wait, no, we only know that in part 2. I wasn't thinking Assassin's Blade at all. Because I was like,
Well, my wording probably didn't help, however I said it.
well, you were like, Aylin's no. And I was like, yeah, it's Aylin's no, but we don't find out until part 2.
Yeah. See, that's why I said Aylin's no. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
you
yeah.
said it in a good way. I just wasn't thinking Assassin's Blade.
So I did not say it in a good way.
Well, you could have added in Assassin's Blade, and I would have been like, yes,
See?
yes.
See?
Listen, you know how I devour books. My friends who are listening know
Same.
how I devour books. It took me a week to get through 28 chapters.
I wish I had a week. JD and I were reading a different book last week.
I know, but like for how much I read, and it took me a week to get through 28 chapters. Yeah.
Well, last night I was falling asleep on the couch and I had 2 chapters left.
Oh,
And I was like, fuck, screw it. I'll just read it during lunch.
I looked at Joe and I was like, I really need you to entertain Hondo because I have 3 chapters left.
But literally, my notes, I have the red. That's all my notes for this. And then last time, my notes were...
So beautiful. And
No, hold on. Last time, my notes were these. So, done.
beautiful.
Way more.
We will strive to do better in part 2.
Part 2, a lot more happens. So,
Yeah, we've got a lot.
well, do you want to say anything else?
Yes. Okay, I've got some things to call out.
Call it out.
Okay, hold on. Considering this is my least favorite, I've got some things to call out. Okay. So Yrene is one of my favorite characters. And we talked about in Empire of Storms that there are a lot of parallel stories that are happening in these books.
Yes.
So it's very interesting that 10 years ago, Yrene's mother died while she fled. And who else's mother died while...
Elide and Lady Marian. Well, Aelin, but Aelin and Lady Marian.
Yes. So it almost makes me wonder, and this is what I thought of rereading. I almost wonder if Elide could have been like Yrene if she didn't fall into her uncle's clutches, if like not necessarily a healer, but like guided a little bit better and had more of a stronger...
Yeah, you can
You
look
know
at
what I
it
mean?
that way, but also if you think about who was saved, it was Aelin who was saved, and it was
Yes.
Yrene who was saved.
Yes.
And later in Kingdom of Ash, that's very big.
It
we
is
see why they were both saved.
very,
But
very big.
yeah, if we see a lead growing, so imagine if she had 10 years to grow like that.
Yeah. It could
She could have been,
completely different person.
yeah, but I like who she grows into eventually.
I do too.
It's gentle but strong.
It is very gentle but strong. But I called that out. I was like, oh, another mother died, so another daughter could flee.
sad.
It's very sad. The pissing contest that happened with Kashim and Chaol. I don't know how Chaol in chapter 7 over Yrene
It's the
at the dinner.
territory claimed.
It's the territory
Like,
claimed.
dude. And that's when Chaol was like, I want nothing to do with her other than to heal me.
Yes, and it's not even at the like when the dinner without the parents and everything, and it's like Kashin was being that guy when he was like, you all know that guy I'm talking about, of like, oh, I'm going to talk about this extra loud to try to get your attention, and like the girl's just completely ignoring, and like he's like, oh, I'm going to talk about this because I know it interests you, extra loud, and it's just like, dude,
Get the picture. It's
Get the
sad
picture.
because
It
he
is.
seems like a good guy other than some toxic traits.
yeah, there are some toxic traits in there, and I'm like, I get it, you're a prince, but also
Calm down.
calm down. I do want to say I think part of Chaol's and Yrene's emotional healing started actually in chapter 8.
Yeah.
And I say that because I believe it's Chaol that said, there are choices in my past that I have come to regret, but I can only move on and attempt to fix them, fight to make sure that they do not happen again. And Yrene reassures him that he can do that from the chair.
Yeah. It's like, you're still you.
Yes.
You're just not as mobile.
Exactly. And then in an instant, she took a defensive stance.
Yeah.
And I was like, does that remind you of someone?
Yeah.
And she even continues to say, she says, it is the right thing to do with all I have been granted, all the kindness thrown my way.
Yeah. Doesn't get charged. She doesn't charge for her service.
She doesn't charge for services, even like the classes that she teaches, the self-defense classes.
Well, none of them charge. It's like, why charge for something that was given to me
a
for
gift.
free?
Yeah.
When I can return the favor.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense. I mean,
it was beautiful how that was written.
It was very beautiful of just like, this was a gift given to me and my gift heals. So why would I charge to heal?
Yeah. And then her going into the slums after their fight.
And she's like, no, I need to heal. I need to heal. Like she needed that. Like
it was like a release.
It was almost like she has this power, almost like Aelin siphons off her power of like needing to get rid of some, almost like that is what in a way. Yeah. I do want to go back and talk about that one quote I said from chapter 9. You must enter where you fear to tread.
Yes.
It was said to Yrene.
Yes.
But I think all of our characters are facing that.
They are. And some are more vocal about it.
Yes.
Than others, like Adian.
Yes. Manon with the
Manon with the Crocans, and then Aelin with Maeve, and then Erewhon eventually. Rowan with himself,
and then without Aelin.
Yeah, it's a lot. Everyone is.
But like the fact that it took my least favorite book to sum up like what everyone is doing at the conclusion of Empire of Storms.
Yeah.
That's what each character is doing.
That's why I think this is an important book to read,
yes.
Even if it ends up not being your favorite.
I do wish they were just like, and I said this to her before we started, either like
chapters.
Make Empire of Storms longer and interweave chapters.
Like, look at the size difference.
Yeah, like just look at that, please.
This
like
is my favorite book. That could have been the same
longer.
Size.
Yeah. Or only do something like J.K. Rowling did with Deathly Hallows of like part 1, part 2. Like I would have been okay with that of like it's too long.
Well, that was just for the movie though, right?
Yeah. I think that was, yeah. But like something.
Yeah, do a part 1, part 2.
Where like, yeah, it would have been a different book, but it would have been interwoven of what's happening in Empire of Storms.
Yeah, I think it makes it more impactful though if you read it book by book and you just want to know what happens to Aelin. You know?
Yes.
Even though it sucks.
I know, because it's just like, you read it as, like you said, as it came out, and you were like, what is going on with Aelin? I need to know.
It was a bit of a disappointment when it first came out because I wanted to know. Mm-hmm. And I had already waited for it to be written and published. And then I had to wait for another book to be written and published.
Yeah.
But my sister-in-law, when she first read these, I told her the internet said to tandem read them.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it would lessen that impact.
Yes. And I did not tandem read them the first time.
Yeah.
I read them just through.
And so she did that. And then she told me, I kind of am not happy I tandem read because I kind of wanted that emotional impact.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
I didn't tandem read the first time I read it because I was like, I want to read it how it came out. And then I went back and I tandem read it.
See, I think that's smart. Like when you first start a series, do it how it's published.
Yes.
And then as soon as you do that, if you ever reread it, do it however you want.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and the way I can comprehend some of my books, like and some people are going to be like, you can't do that. Send me a book I've read and I can pick up a book that I've read repeatedly and pick up at a chapter, like in the middle of the book. Or I can go and remember a scene and search on my Kindle app and be like, I like this scene. I just want to specifically read this scene and everything. And like, remember what had happened before and maybe read a couple pages ahead and be like, oh yeah, this is what was leading up to it and da-da-da-da-dum. So
that's cool though that you could do that. Like,
it's my comprehension skills.
I feel like a lot of like I could do that, but in my mind I have to start from the beginning again and again and again. I don't know why. I just have to.
If I'm completely rereading, yes. But like for some of my comfort books where I'm like, I'm feeling this, I need
watching
to
your favorite movie or show.
I sometimes fast forward to certain scenes in my comfort stuff because I need that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfect.
Exactly.
It's like watching that like Harry Potter series. Every year it's on the TV. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't need to watch Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm going straight to the Deathly Hallows or something or the one where they do the game.
Number 4.
Yeah, thank you.
Goblet of Fire.
Thank you. Like, I know what happens in the previous ones. So I see how that works for you too.
Yeah, because it's just like, I need that comfort.
Yeah.
I do, for all the movies, I will say just a little squirrel moment and we'll go back to Tower of Dawn. For Christmas time, I do queue up all the different Christmas scenes in Harry Potter because I'm like, I love all the Christmas scenes.
I know the Christmas sweaters and scenes are so cute.
They are. And who doesn't love Christmas? Well, yeah, some people don't. I know. Chapter 11. One of the other things that we've talked about is how there are some similarities and like there are things that are described in similarity in characters. So in chapter 11, Chaol is describing Yrene. Okay. A woman made of steel and crackling embers. Heat indeed flared beneath her palm as she slid it up the column of his spine.
Yeah, when I read that, I was immediately thinking, Aelin.
I was thinking that too. And then in chapter 19, I was like, how interesting that she needs a restorative sleep.
Aelin.
When her powers need to be replenished.
Yeah.
So,
and that goes back to both of them being saved by a mother figure.
Yes. And I know that's different power. Like it's different type of magic and different and everything. But
they're
it's
both
just
super strong.
They're both super strong. It's just very interesting how even though it's viewed as a different magic, it is still the same in the sense of being described that way and a form of light because fire and this golden light. And they need a nap.
Yeah, they need a nap. Well, also the fact that in a way they're both heirs.
Yes.
Because she's the heir apparent
to
Hafiza, even though she plans to leave.
A lot of these chapters were very much the day in, day out of Yrene healing Chaol. She did push him in the sense of she called him out of like, nope, we're doing this. You're not going to go in your head. You're not going to be stubborn and everything like that. He did have a lot of his pity parties by himself, which I liked because even though he was slowly getting rid of throwing himself pity parties, it was just very frustrating to see because it was like, you kind of brought this on yourself and you have to do this emotional healing and get out of your own head. And that's when Sheen was like, when he saw his metal hand out, was like, thank you.
Yeah, I know. About time you showed up, Sheen.
Yes, thank you. I want to talk about the tour real quick.
Okay.
Because in chapter 25, and we've talked about the Maas verse, how it interweaves.
Yeah.
I don't think we've read anything that could allude to where the Torah came from in other Maas verse books. But it was a gift from an ancient queen to the healer who saved her child's life. Yep. I wanted to make sure that was called out because I was like...
Don't forget about that part too.
Yeah. want to call that out because mass verse, interweaving and everything. And I think in chapter 28, we both said it was the end of part 1. Chapter 28 is the end of part 1. And we both said that that's when Chaol was like, okay, I have my ish together as much as it's going to be together for the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get my life together. I'm going to fight this emotionally and physically. And I liked how he admitted I was given enough and I squandered it.
Yes. See, this is where I feel like the book picks up because he actually admits more to himself.
Yes.
This is who I am as a person.
Yes.
This is who I want to be.
Yes. Because I think, especially with all that was described and all the flashbacks and all that Yrene is seeing, like as she fights it, of like his guards on the gate, of like how he sees Aelin, how he sees Dorian, how he sees the head rolling and everything. Like he saw what he was given and how it was taken, and he squandered it. He took it for granted in that way. And he's like, I'm not going to let it happen again. And that's after where he went to the guy, and it was very Aelin-esque of how
I'm going to train with you.
I'm going to train with you, because like we all know Aelin trained in all different areas, but it was very Aelin-esque of he's like, I know this way, but I need to know your way. And they were like, we're doing this in the chair. We're doing outside the chair. Like we're figuring this out. We're adapting to where you are now.
And I like that support that they gave him,
Yes.
even though they did not know him.
Exactly. And I think even if it was his guard, they would have done the same. And I think he needed that camaraderie, even though it wasn't his guard. He needed that camaraderie as well.
He did. He really did.
So I did note that this was my last note. This part in Chaol's pity party is with Nesryn and Yrene, is with part 1. Sorry. I can't read my own handwriting. Part 1 is Chaol's pity party with Nesryn and Yrene and the princes and princess thrown in it. And it had to happen so that we can move on from it.
Yes.
And now we're moving on from it, and more to come in part 2.
I think for this book, part 2 is way better, but you need the information of part 1.
Yes. I could have gone without some of the information,
Yes.
but we needed some of the information.
I think a lot of it was the world building too.
Yes.
Like we needed that, and it really was written beautifully.
Yes, it was. It was written very well. I loved how different it was.
Yes. But also it did add a lot to it.
There are a lot of words in there that I could have been like, okay, I didn't need to know about this. I did not need to know about this either.
Well, what do you rate part 1?
2. And I'm being nice.
I'm being nice and saying 3.
I was going to rate 1.5, but I had to round up.
Yeah, you have just to be nice. I mean, this is yeah. So
Oh, I'm so sorry. I stopped petting you.
how dare you? I took a video of you
You're just me petting her.
Yeah. Hi, Marley.
This is my Marley girl.
This is your new thing, isn't it? Making it sure whoever sits in that seat pets you.
Yes.
Yes.
This is my girl.
Next episode is part 2 of Tower of Dawn. Please let us know what you think of the book if you've read it. Thanks for watching, listening, and hope to see you next time.
Yay, part
Bye.
2.